How's it going, everyone? I'm Sir James coming at you guys with another custom lightsaber review. This time we have one seen in the really cool cinematic trailers for Star Wars The Old Republic, and this one is for Satele Shan. This particular lightsaber is done up by TXQ, and I obtained it through NSabers. So as always, if you're interested in this hilt, whether it's a double-bladed format or single-bladed option as well, which I'll showcase later on, you can go ahead and use my discount code on this or anything that they tend to offer in their catalog. Anytime that you use my discount code, you guys not only save on your initial purchase, but I also make a little bit of money at myself, and which I could use towards my future lightsaber purchases too, so that way I have more reviews for you guys to check out as well, so it's a win-win for everybody. Now, today is January 30th, and I don't typically mention dates in which my videos are filmed, but the only reason why I mention it today is because it's a very special day. If you were ever curious how old I was, well, as of today, I am now officially 34 years of age. Crazy to think by next year I'm going to be midway to my 40s. And yeah, I don't look like I'm in my 30s, but honestly, I am. I have no reason to lie about my age. So now you guys know. And so for my birthday, I decided to review this, because as you guys know, I love double-bladed lightsabers, and this one is definitely one of my favorite designs. So let's go ahead and take a closer look and see what I truly think about this. So first off, let's go ahead and take a closer look. Like I said, you can get the saber as a double-bladed option that I'm reviewing at right now, and you can take this apart and make it into a single-bladed choice or purchase it as a single-bladed option, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes. Now, yes, in the past I have reviewed a hilt like this before through a different company. However, that one was definitely a lot more money. What's great about the TXQ option is that this one is a lot cheaper by a pretty good amount. I would say probably over $400 cheaper, and that's before tax and or shipping. Now, this hilt is a 2-button setup, and the control box is right here, blended in pretty nice with the design. And these buttons too, when the saber is on, will also light up as well. So whether or not you like that or not, it's completely up to you, but that's where it is. So you got one big button and one small button. As far as blade retention screws, there are a total of 3. There and there. And then of course over here is our connector, which we'll get to in just a few minutes. Now, if you're probably looking at this and thinking to yourself, how come one side looks darker versus the other? That's because on mine, I don't know if it's a common issue or not, or just whatever the case may be, but yes, on mine, this side seems to be a lot darker in the weathering compared to this one. So it's not my lighting playing tricks on you, that's how it looks in person. As to why that case may be, I'm not entirely sure. It may bother some people. For me, it's kind of 50-50. I kind of just made it into a little story like this side's more of the dark side variant and this is more of the light side variant. Kind of go from there. But again, I feel like the weathering should be consistent, especially if someone gets it as a double-bladed variant. I feel like it should, you know, match through and through versus having 2 different ones. So that's probably the only real nitpick that I have about this entire review, to be completely honest. As far as the hilt in terms of its weight and comfort, it is a little bit on the heavy side. It's not the heaviest double-bladed lightsaber I've ever checked out. The heaviest ones that I've seen was from, well, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge with that one. But here, again, there's some weight to it, so if you're going to swing this, I would highly encourage you to at least go a little bit of a slower pace to get a feel for it, which is what I'll be doing later on when we take this outside to swing it. Other than that, in terms of how does it feel comfortably, and are there any form of issues where you could potentially scratch up or scuff up your hands? And the answer is, well, it is comfortable. And as far as the etchings and stuff that's going across this entire hilt, there's nothing that sticks out or that feels sharp. Everything is nice and smooth all the way around, so you're not really going to scuff up or scratch your hand on really anything, to be honest. So as I mentioned before, you can get this as a single blade. It's already double bladed. You can get this as a single bladed option. In fact, in the box you will find that the hilt's already separated with the connector inside the box. Each hilt also comes, if you get it as a double bladed, will come with its own pommel piece too. So you can go ahead and use these separate. Now, do keep in mind that regardless of which option you go with, there is no form of being able to clip this onto a belt at all. And there might be a little bit of enough gap, I'm not entirely sure just yet, if you might be able to add a D-ring onto this piece itself. But just be in mind that if you want to carry this with you, you will technically do have to carry it with you. So let's go ahead and take this apart so that way I can show you guys how this looks as a single bladed option. Now also do keep in mind that the version that I'm reviewing is the Revan. Oops, I didn't mean to turn that on already. Step it. Yeah, I was worried about activating it already because I have gesture controls enabled on here. One of them is the swing on method, so it doesn't take much to swing the saber on. But let me go ahead and show you this. I actually forgot where I was before that initiated. But oh yeah, I'm reviewing the Profi version of this hilt if you are curious too. But first, let's go ahead and start with the connector. This is going to be the connector right here. You'll notice that there is a ring here that technically adjusts going up and down. So when you are trying to connect the hilts together, you will find that when you first add the two pieces, that the sections may not align properly. So when you connect this to the one portion of the hilt, you're going to use this ring and while twisting the other one to try to get the parts to line up. It seems like it's a little frustrating at first, but with a little bit of practice, you will get used to it to the point where it becomes natural. I mean, it's a lot better than some of the other old methods when it comes to connecting double-bladed sabers where you had to use timing shims. This is technically kind of like a timing shim, but I mean, it works out very good. But I didn't have any issues while using this particular piece, and you shouldn't either. Let me go ahead and add... Actually, before we add the pommel, let me go ahead and show you the chassis. The chassis, as you would expect, is the same as before. You do have your Profi board right here. The SD card this time around is a little bit easier to access. And anytime you're going to plug this in, you might be wondering, how do I connect a cable? Just lift up the board a little bit like so, and you'll be able to plug in a cable just fine. And you can also lift up the board just enough to where you can get some tweezers with a rubber fitting in there to remove the SD card if you need to do so. On the other side, of course, we have our USB-C charging port and a removable battery. These batteries do tend to be a little bit of a pain to remove, but I find having a little tool to use, like just something flat to pop the battery out, tends to be quite useful. As far as connecting the chassis, these are only going to connect one way because of the top here. As you can see, it's two different sizes there. Look on the inside and just simply align it like so. Now there are technically arrows here on one side, so it looks like as far as if you follow the arrows here, if the arrows are facing the control box where you will be activating the buttons, then that's going to be the correct way of doing it. And then, like I said, this is the pommel. And this is how it's going to look as a single bladed option without it being connected, just like that. So again, you do have your two choices if you decide to get this. If you want it single, double. If you get it double, you do get the parts added, so you could have two individual hilts instead of a combined one. It would be pretty cool if this had any form of like quick release connectors, because how cool would it be to have this style hilt and just to quickly detach the hilts and then reattach it? That'd be pretty neat. There might be some form of connector out there that could be usable for this. I wouldn't know of any on top of my head, but if there is, I definitely want to find one and try it out. So as far as the saber fonts, do keep in mind that you do get well over 20 saber fonts included with your purchase, and it also includes the blades, the case, and all that. And again, it's a pretty good bargain deal because the last ones that I reviewed were close to like $1,300. That's before tax and shipping. These, if I remember correctly, are less than $850. And of course, add any form of sale or my discount. Again, the bargain's pretty much quite there. As far as the saber fonts that I will be showcasing in today's review, I did replace the ones that were included because I've shown those many times, and I wanted for my review to be more matching as far as what saber fonts that I showcase. So I'm using a good amount of fonts related to Kyberphonic from the games called the I believe the package is called the Old Knight or something like that. I'll put a link to it in the video description down below. And the other one was through a different guy, which I'll put a link to as well. I don't know how to say his name correctly. I know it starts with an F, so I do apologize for that. But he had a saber font related to the character as well, which I used as font number 1. But like I said, when you do turn this on, these will glow right here, just like that. And also do keep in mind that by default with the included package, you do have gesture controls enabled, which will be the twist on and twist off, which is simply twist, ignites, you twist your arm, and then of course it deactivates, or you can do it by pressing the buttons yourself. So let me go ahead and just quickly cycle through the font names while we're here so that way you guys can hear it a little bit better. And then we're going to go ahead and go outside and swing this around as a double-bladed format just to see how it feels around. So these are going to be the fonts that I'll be showcasing in this review.
Darth Revan.
I am Bastila Shan.
Darth Malak. I'm Jolie Bindu. My apprentice, Darth Bandon.
I am Juhani.
I came to warn you, Jedi. My name's Beodor.
I am Kreia, and I am your rescuer, as you are mine.
Some really cool ones in here.
This is Mikal. I have found the exile.
I am Brianna, the last of the Jedi, and the one who will stand with you against all enemies who face us.
So that one leads back to my font number 1. So the gesture controls that I added, besides the, of course, casual twist on and twist off, is that I also got the swing on. And then I also got the... Oh. Ah. Okay. It didn't go off as I predicted. Nope.
The exile.
Oh, never mind. I wasn't done cycling through my saber fonts here.
Light and dark exist in perfect balance.
Okay, now I'm back at font number 1. I'm getting ahead of myself. But I also have thrust control, which is, well, it activates better when there's a blade in it. But other than that, so like I said, let's go ahead and take this outside and see how it feels after I'm done swinging, and if there's any issues or any parts that might come loose along the way. So let's go ahead and get to that right now.
Bastila Shan. Darth Malak.
Just so you guys are aware, if you're wondering why that's becoming unlit, I needed to adjust the blade, but my retention screw is currently away. Just so you're aware. That's only if I'm swinging too fast. Alright.
My name's Beodor. I have found the exile.
And dark exist in perfect balance.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that little demo for the outside shot, wielding it in a double-bladed format. I will say that the lightsaber itself was definitely comfortable to wield around and swing. It did take a little bit of time to adjust to it because of the weight of the saber. And of course, while swinging it, I was a little bit more cautious as well, because one, I didn't want to drop it, and two, I also had my dogs running around in the backyard, as you've seen in the shots. And last thing I needed is for me to lose control and for it to hit one of them, as I would not forgive myself at all. But other than that, it was definitely fun to swing around for sure. Didn't really have any issues besides the fact that one of the blades was disconnecting, but that was due to me making the mistake of not tightening the retention screws a little bit more. So that was by user mistake, not the hilt itself. But the hilts handled perfectly well. There's no parts that came loose while swinging it. There was nothing that felt uncomfortable while wielding it. No sharp edges, nothing, which is great because that's something that you would want in a double-bladed or just any saber in general. Now, I will say that while holding the sabers like I am right now as two individual hilts instead of connected feels weird to me because I'm so used to, well, looking at this and using it in a double-bladed format than I am by itself. But again, I just wanted to show the option that if you wanted to get one of the hilts, you could. But again, if you wanted to get the double-bladed, you do have your options to split them. And it's always fun to wield. And of course, after having the pommel connected, if you're curious, would it be possible to try to add a D-ring to this? I would say with confidence that there seems to be enough space between where the speaker section is, along with the little black railing they use to pull the board out, and where the speaker ventilation is. There seems to be enough gap where you could try to add a custom D-ring to the bottom of the pommels here, so that way you could carry these around, you know, as individual hilts. But other than that, like I said, the sabers were definitely a lot of fun. I like the fact that these are definitely a very nice, affordable option in the saber market, especially for a lot of you who've been wanting to get this particular character's lightsaber. Again, see? That's what happens when I added the swing on motion, because now it's harder to review these when the saber's not in sleep mode just yet, as I forgot to add that setting myself. But yeah, these are great. I really like these, and I'm definitely going to have a lot of fun and uses out of this. But let me know what you guys think about these hilts in the comment section down below. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And always remember, may the Force be with you.